Hey guys, my name is Neel and welcome to Neel Workshop Zone. So in this episode we're going to be talking about a new topic, triangles. So in our previous episodes we talked about statistics, probability, etc. So if you haven't checked it out, I recommend checking out those episodes. So in this episode we're going to be talking about triangles. So without any further ado, let's talk about it. So what is a triangle? Well, we see triangles in our day-to-day life, but we don't really know the definition of it. Well, a triangle is a shape with three close sides. And it's kind of obvious. So, now let's try to learn about some of the basics to understand the basics of this chapter. So, without any further, let's talk about them. So, triangles are divided or classified by two methods. So, you have by sides and by angles, or by angle. So, the first one is equilateral. Next one is isosceles, and third one is scalene or scalene. So first let's talk about the sides, then we'll go to the angles. So what is an equilateral triangle? So an equilateral triangle is a triangle where all the sides of the triangle are equal. So for example, this is just an example, but imagine this is an equilateral triangle. So like I said, an equilateral triangle must have all three sides as equal. So for example, all three sides should have, for example, a measurement like 3 centimeters, 3 centimeters and 3 centimeters, or 2, 2 and 2. So that must be an equilateral triangle where compulsory all three sides of triangle should be equal. So let me take the eraser real quick. Now let's talk about an isosceles triangle. So an isosceles triangle is where two sides of the triangle are equal. So instead of equilateral where all three sides are equal, in this only two sides are. So for example, imagine this is 2 centimeters and this is 2 centimeters. This one will be like 3 centimeters or 5 centimeters, etc. Or something along the lines. So isosceles triangle is a triangle. So isosceles triangle is a triangle where two sides of the triangle are equal. Next is scalene triangle. And according to the equilateral and isosceles, I think you can understand what scalene is. Well, scalene is a triangle, or scalene triangle is a triangle where none of the sides are equal to each other. So for example, imagine, let's imagine this as a triangle. And in this, one will be 3, 2, 4, so it will be random. So that is a scalene triangle. So now that we talked about how a triangle is classified through sides, now let's talk about the angles. So first is acute, second is right, and third is obtuse. So acute triangles, or also known as acute angle triangles, are the triangles where all of the angles in a triangle are acute. So if you don't know what an acute angle is, because all of the angles in an acute triangle are acute angles, an acute angle is an angle where the angle is less than 90 degrees. So it's between 0 to 90 degrees. So all of these angles of a triangle are acute. So for example, this is 35 degrees, this is 85 degrees, 90, 100, 120, and this is 60 degrees. So that is a acute angle triangle. It's not actually equal, but this is just an example. So this is an acute angle triangle where all three sides are below 90 degrees and above 0 degrees. So that is acute angle triangles. Now what is right angle triangles? So right angle triangles are triangles where one of the angle is 90 degrees. So in this right angle triangle, we will take this as 90 degrees, and this right angle triangle, even though it's not in the chapter, but right angle triangles are really important to learn about right angle triangles, especially the Pythagoras theorem, etc., because they will be used in the future topics like trigonometry, etc. But anyways, let's take right angle triangle like this. Now this is hypotenuse, which is the longest side, and this is base, or let's call it base, and let's call it side, or let's call it adjacent, I guess. So basically that's kind of how a rectangle triangle works, where basically have a hypotenuse, which is longest side, then you have side or adjacent, base, etc. So we'll talk about this more as we move on, but basically there's also something known as the Pythagoras theorem, where hypotenuse square is equal to side square plus adjacent square. So yeah, we'll mostly discuss about it in a future sum, or maybe in the next chapter, but for now we'll just leave it at there. So that is basically a right angle triangle, a triangle where one of the angles is 90 degrees. Now you might be thinking, well, why only one? Because acute angle triangles are, in acute angle triangle, all three angles are below 90 degrees, right? So then why cannot right angle triangle all have their angles as 90 degrees? Well, the answer is simple. So basically there is something known as an angle sum property. In that property, all the three angles of the triangle must add up to 180. So no matter any type of triangle, it might be equilateral, isosceles, scalene, acute, right, and obtuse, when you add all three angles of a triangle, they must be equal to 180 degrees. So that is an angle sum property. So that is why, there can be only one right angle triangle. So now let's talk about obtuse. So like I said, acute and right are, kind of where acute is below 90 degrees and right is equal to 90. So obtuse, like it's obvious, is above 90 degrees. Now like I said, since there cannot be, two or more, there cannot be more angles which are obtuse, since it will be above 180 degrees. Obtuse angle can only have one angle. Okay, so I guess the camera cut for some reason. Apparently the camera stopped recording. But I guess we were talking about acute and why, and why a triangle cannot have more than two right angle triangles or two right angle degrees, or at least that's where I think the camera's recorded. But I guess we'll do a little recap. So basically we talked about acute angle triangle and how an acute angle triangle has every angle in it. It's an acute angle, so all three of the angles are acute angles. And I was also talking about why a right angle triangle cannot have two angles which are 90 degrees, because according to the angle sum property, which is really important, a triangle or any type of triangle can only have a total of 180 degrees. So for example, when you add up the three angles in a triangle, they must be equal to 180 degrees. So that is why you cannot have two right angle triangles, because it will become 180 degrees and one of the degrees just cannot be 0. So yeah, next was obtuse angle triangle. So in obtuse angle triangle, it should be above 90 degrees and below 180 degrees. That's also the definition for obtuse angle. So an obtuse angle triangle must have one angle which is above 90, below 180, and the remaining must be probably acute. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this short video. Due to the camera cut, it was a little confusing, but hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out any new videos. And that's all folks, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.